of Toledo Reia, and he is the current president of Ohio Real Estate Investors. He's an educational instructor on 1031 exchanges, and he protects your privacy through trusteeship, and he gives you hundreds of dollars in discounts with any investor, whether you're buying and selling. He provides pre-starts so you know what's going on with those properties. He assists in short sales, and he registers your rental properties when you're with him at closing. He takes care of that with the county, and he is the owner of multi and single family rentals. Don Newman. Our next shark is Dave Zyka. We need a double stool. He buys, rehabs, and sells since 1983. That was almost before I was born. He has several other real estate ventures, and in Reia since 1989 when it was called the Lions Club, Landlord Investors of Neighborhoods. He's a current vice president of Toledo Reia, and he really enjoys assisting fellow investors by helping them through private lending. And if you see a brown paper bag, then you're the bonus person.
A bag?
Let's have a welcome for Dave Zyka. Our next shark is Mick Clayton of Lakeshore Homes. Now it's Oakwood. Previously Lakeshore, now it's Oakwood. Now it's Oak Ridge Investment Company. You're just a step ahead of me. His cornerstone is in rentals, landlord contracts, lease options for 20 years. He's been around. He founded Oak Ridge Investment Group, LLC, and he specializes in single-family houses, expanding now into Sylvania, Springfield Township, Harrisburg, Maumee, all those good places he's looking for. So if you're interested, he's the one to contact. He currently owns, you still got 90 plus properties? Yep, up there. Let's welcome Mick Clayton. All right. Now there's a purpose to this, guys. And everybody in the audience should really be listening, because this is as important to the audience as it is to these four people up here. What we're teaching you tonight is if you are the shark bait, how to put a portfolio together, how to please that lender, how to put everything in there you need to get the job done and get the loan go through. So it's very important. And also, a lot of you out there are only getting 1/4 of 1% on your money. So it's time to think about investing without the tubs, toilets, and tenants. So they will be at a table afterwards, our shark bait will, so that you can come over and talk to them about their deals if you're interested, or if you have some questions, or you want to be a part of it too. So they will have their table over here to take care of that. So we want to make sure that you pay attention, because this is for you as much as it is for our shark bait. So the first bite we're going to take with shark bait will be our shark bait Tammy Lefevre. Just stand right up here and face the judges. Face them right here. Okay, while they're putting a mic on her and getting her ready, I'm going to introduce her. Tammy Lefevre is one that so graciously went down to the grassroots training with us, gave up a Saturday to do that. She is Northwest Ohio Investment Company, LLC, and that is out of Sylvania, Ohio. She has a family and personal background in real estate investing. She's been a Toledo Reia member for years, and she, again, participated, took that extra time to go down and see what she can do to help against these invasive laws that we have here in Toledo. So just step right up here, right there. You're good? Now go ahead and present your deal.
Hi, Chairman.
Hello.
Can't hear you back here.
Put your mic up.
Can you hear it? Yeah, you got to kiss it.
Well, I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here today and to do this for all of us.
Okay.
Well, first of all, how to start this, but I have a few things, packets here I'd like to give to each of you.
Just give it to one and they'll pass it down the line for you.
There's a property in Sylvania that I'm interested in, and I have a couple properties right now, and I'm looking to expand, want to increase my real estate portfolio. And there's some other things that I want to do. I'm getting into a little more with the real estate, with things having to do with real estate. I'd like to get my contractor's license. I've been doing that work for many years, and I should probably be legal now. And again, like redoing my lead safe, and maybe go on and actually get the lead abatement license. So those are a few goals that are in one of the packets that I made up. I have a little history I put on there, just a few properties that I've done in the past, and that's in your the second brochure that you got. Okay, and just a breakdown of 3 of them that I picked. And it gives a list price, what I purchased them for, about what I put into them, and okay, how they turned out, if I rented them, and about how long, and then what I sold them for.
How long have you been selling this property?
Those, I sold a few years ago. But these are a couple current properties that I have, and what I bought them for, and about how much money I put into them. What's the address? 3340. That one I have a small, there's a small mortgage on that, but I'll get that on that. PNTIN is only about 3 1/4. And then the other one on there, I own that money. This is a property that I'm interested in. It's 6720 Roosevelt. It's offered at $129,900. The owner of this property owned one right next to it, identical. That sold in May for $110,000.
It's in their packet.
Okay, yeah, that's the first packet that I gave her.
Last page. Identical.
How much are you looking for investment money?
Well, sorry. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry. It depends. I haven't put an offer on it yet, and I do have some money I can put down. But it would depend on what type of accepted offer I could get.
You're looking for a first mortgage?
Yes.
How long do you want?
I think I would want it at least 13 months. It'll give me my year, and then I can do a refi.
Oh, okay. What interest rate
What?
compared to that?
Well, I know I'll pay a lot more with you guys, but
I mean, have you run, this is now you're the fourth person who showed this to me, so, in last 6 days. So this is a hot topic.
It's a hot
Yeah,
topic.
we know that. Okay. Like these tenants right here, can you describe describe it, describe it kind of, how long have you been here?
One tenant has been in there 7 years. The other tenant is about 4, or almost 4. They're older, both sides. They're settled, they're happy there. One tenant pays $660 a month, the other one pays $610 a month.
Is there a mortgage on this property?
No, I didn't believe so.
You don't know?
Based on, when I looked it up on Aaron's,
Okay.
it didn't show a mortgage company. It showed the owner.
How long has he owned it? You don't know, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
How old are the mechanics?
The roof was done in 2010. Both units have completely new bathrooms. I don't know exactly when they did them, but they're brand new, everything.
Have you been to a mortgage broker? Yeah?
This, no.
There's no reason you can't. It's publicly said, but private, is that like
How about
No.
the kitchens in that?
The kitchens are good. They're in great shape. Appliances are in great shape. They look nice. They're clean. They're decent.
Plumbing is what?
Plumbing is fabulous, actually.
Copper, PEX, or
Um,
PVC?
Mostly copper.
Okay.
Like up in the units, they run some plastic.
Do you see increasing in rents on this? Do you see increasing in rents on this? Because I think it seems like the rents are low for this price home.
Yes, that's a consideration.
but they're older, so what's the chance of them escape? They can't afford it, but they have fixed it. You don't know, it's fine.
Don't know.
That's cool.
And then also, this is marked that it's a 2-story, but it looks like a 1-story. Is there a basement?
It's a 1-story. There's a crawl under one side, a basement under the other side, but it's both sides use the basement. They don't have
How do
access.
you get to the basement from inside or outside?
Inside?
People have access to the basement
Yes,
on each side?
yes.
Have you tried to get a mortgage on this yet?
No.
Will they take it on? I was just curious if you would consider like a regular, you just need help with the second. You know what I'm saying, with down payment versus the full first. But, you know.
Actually, I just looked at it last week.
Because money's at such historic lows right now. Why would we be willing to pay us 12% when you can get it for 3 3/4? Just
Well-
curious.
I could do the second for, but
After you can't convert it, how? What if you can't convert in 13 months? You want to sign a contract?
I have, in one of my properties, I own it outright and I can take a mortgage out on that and can pay that.
Could you walk away from this property? I mean,
Yeah.
are you so interested in getting this that you're willing to do whatever it takes? Or could you say, I'm not interested in this property?
Well, I'm definitely interested in it, but there are other properties as well.
You haven't made a bid on this yet though, right?
No, I just looked at it last week.
Here's the one
For that street, okay. This, and I don't think those are, this is another one that I was looking at across the street. It's a duplex, one up, one down. This one's in really good shape. It does need a little bit of touch-up work. Not much at all. Mostly, one unit is empty, and that's mostly painting. That was the one that had the nice hardwood floors, wasn't it? Yeah. Like, and then this one is behind the first property. that this is a 4-unit. This is in very good shape. And again, this one had hardwood floors. The plumbing and electrical, it's all up to date. It has poured walls for the basement, and the garage carport there, those are poured walls. Roof is in good shape. Windows they're in good shape, but they're older.
Have you made an offer on that?
Again, they just looked at them last week.
Why do these properties in this area interest you versus other properties in other areas?
Well, I haven't done multi-units before, and I'm interested in getting into doing some multi-units. I live real close to this area. I know the area, grew up in Pennsylvania, and I know it's a good area.
I won't disagree.
And it's outside of Toledo.
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
just,
As a licensed real estate agent, I blah, 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 blah.
This is a cul-de-sac right in downtown Sylvania. It backs up to all the things you can walk to.
yes, it's very close to the historical village,
Does
and
the cash flow at 12% interest? You paid that on mortgage? Do you know? I'm sorry. Do you know, does the cash flow at a 12% interest rate if you were to do a hard, I mean, to come to us and expect us to give you 3.75% interest is not the thing.
What he's asking, is there enough cash flow there to pay 12% interest?
If you don't know, just add them up.
yeah.
That's cool.
I'm gonna try to have to see what the figures would end up being.
Depends on the offer.
I think you say it depends on the amortization. 85 years.
That's part of it too, without having an accepted offer.
Keeping in mind too that the Shark Tank is a great learning lesson for all of us, and we're asking questions that you should know the answers to. When you're working and you want to go to an investor, make sure that these are things that you think about. You work the numbers at a time. She's an example for us, and we don't mean to be putting her down at all, but it's a great way to learn some things, so.
I would have more information for you if I had more time.
We can dig it.
But actually, 2 of them we just saw on Sunday. We raced over there Sunday.
Thank you for being up here.
What did the one sell for that's identical right next door since it's sold?
110. 110. And that one that sold for 110 had brand new windows throughout both units and central air in both units. The one I'm looking at still has the aluminum windows and no central air.
So obviously you would offer less than 110.
Much less.
Oh, yes.
The last one took 200 days to sell, so although the market is heating up, like I said, seriously, I've had, I think it's 4 or 5 people show me this, and that's my opinion. And for every one of them that came to me, Robbie, I told them not to buy it. Okay, so
Because
the biggest reason is because I didn't feel that it was just cash flowing correctly.
cash.
I don't think that leaves enough room for margin. I don't know. I like, I am spoiled at 20% returns on my investment, 20, 25, 30, 27% return on my investment, cash on cash. So, at 12, on this thing here, this is a long-term buy. This is what you put your college, your kids through college with at this rent. But the challenge is Sylvania right now is you get much more. Right now, you can get a house in Sylvania for $875, $850, $900. So it's a challenge on where you can go. Meanwhile, I can go and you've got a duplex on what street? North Haven? North Lockwood. And how much you get on each side of those? 5, so let's just round up because I have public education math, right? So $600, $1,200 for close to what you're getting right here, right? And if you're smart about it, you'll be able to pick one up for about $28,000. So as just a mean mercenary type investor, that's what I'm looking at right now. I can afford to have someone paint that thing every 4 years if it doesn't have siding to that. So I'm not trying to put you down, and if you can find a lender, especially since because you already have a beautiful house, a beautiful property that's free and clear, you're not getting any leverage on that deal right there. You're not putting that money to work for you.
The issue with that property is it's in my business name. And the only thing that's holding me up is the lenders were saying it had to be in my name or in a trust with me as trustee for 6 months before they run on it.
Well, there's a once-in-a-lifetime real estate deal every day. Okay? So I would position yourself, you have a great tool here. Without money, nothing happens. Okay? I'm putting together a $2 million deal. Worked on this afternoon with just $100,000 down. If you find the right folks. Okay? Yeah, maybe we'll get the title. But I think you need to, you have a powerful tool right there, and what is the goal? Why do you invest in real estate? I mean, Cindy had great goals, and she's just been powerfully successful here. Why are you investing in real estate? What is the goal?
Well, it's a few things, actually. I really enjoy doing this.
Okay. I enjoy coffee though. Well, let's not a headache.
And I see a way to get rid of my JOB, that I can make a good living on this, and also improve the neighborhoods and communities.
On behalf of Sylvania, we need some help.
Well, actually, in some areas in Sylvania it does.
Just think about some of these goals though, like you want to get rid of your job. Okay? This property here, you might get $150, maybe $150 a month positive cash flow. How far would that go along when you get rid of your job? But yet you have to put 20% down, $24,000 for $150 a month positive cash flow. How powerful is that? I don't know the answer to that. Not being mean, I'm just saying, I found out that there's 2 4-families in Perrysburg right now, okay, bringing in like $7,000 a month, maybe $4,800 a month, right? You can buy those maybe as low as $50,000 down. The point being is that, and that gets you outside of your criteria, which is Toledo. I'm sorry, I'm standing. So I'm just saying, just kind of open your eyes a little bit. I mean, that's a good deal. Like I say, if you're hoping for a little appreciation, in Toledo, it doesn't really appreciate that much. But you're hoping, you're looking for an equity and buy. I mean, if you could get this at roughly what, 100,000, what would you say would make it a good 195?
I'm like you, Jim. If I can't make 30% on a property, I'm not going to fool with it.
All right. So
30% on my investment.
Right. So just, you got good goals. There's a good mentor right there. I mean, she took it from, 0 to a nice livelihood investing in real estate. And you've got this $100,000. You just, honestly, there's enough to go to Henry County Bank. All right? And take them their house, take them your house, tell them you'll sign personally, blah, 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 blah. Get an equity line. And then be smart about it. Put that money to work. Okay? And that's the good news. Metamora has been pretty aggressive lately. Genoa is just moving to Sylvania. Yeah, so look at some of these poor farmers banks. Wink, wink, nod. Those are things. Poor farmer zip bank anymore. But there's an idea, and at least deal with a little committee versus Fifth Third, the bank and no. Right, Marcus? So,
I also had to have something for sure.
Tammy, I think there's been a lot of advice here, a lot of good questions asked, but for me, if you're coming to me saying, Mr. Mick, I'd like to borrow some money, I mean, the first thing that I'm going to look for is, how am I secured? Am I secured by those beautiful eyes or that long hair? Right, but how am I secured? By that property. And you're right, that's what my security is. You've got to let us know what the loan to debt is. I mean, how are you looking for 60% of my money to buy that? Are you looking for all of my money to buy that? I'm going to want to lend as little as I can to be secured as adequately as possible. I don't care.
What's your usual percentage? 51?
You know, I wouldn't lend money on percentage of equity in the home. Yeah, my security position, well, that's just one factor I look at. But I'm going to want to probably have about a 70% loan to debt. In other words, if it's $100,000, I'd like to see 30,000 of your own money into it before I put 70,000 of my money into it. Next thing I'm going to want to know is, what kind of interest are you going to pay me? I mean, I'm real motivated by high interest rates, and I don't think that I'm sure what you're offering here. That's something else I look for. Another thing that I look for is experience. I'm not sure how much experience you have. You can maybe tell us, but your experience in managing people. I mean, if you're going to have a bunch of rentals, there's a difference in low-income people, and of course, I'm not real interested. I am interested in the management skills. That's a small part of what I look at, because if you fail, that means I'm stuck with this property. So I am going to look at that. But I don't know where you are in that area as far as your management skills. And like Jim was asking, are you looking for appreciation? Are you looking for depreciation? Are you looking for cash flow? Are you looking to shelter money? I'm not sure why you're getting into this. And I'd like to feel that whoever I'm going to lend money to can tell me, hey, here's why I want this. It's not to improve the neighborhood. I don't want to improve the neighborhood. Let's face it, we want to make money. And why there's so many ways to make money. I want to feel secure in you and the property. I want to feel secure that you know what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're going to get there. And so my advice would probably be, I'm going to pass on this deal, I guess, because I don't feel comfortable with what you presented so far. And like Jim, I'm not trying to badmouth you or mealy-mouth you, but everybody should be thinking of these things. Hopefully I've answered the questions for some other people, and as an investor, that's what I'd be looking for.
Tammy, do you have any other questions? Are you good?
I'll kick in $5,000 toward your down payment. She only needs 20. That's a pretty good deal if she doesn't need that much down
Use the
payment.
microphone. They can't hear what you're saying.
I'll give you $5,000 towards your down payment for a 40% equity position. But she's borrowing what you don't understand. That's really not that bad when you think about it. Her down payment's only going to be what? 15% maybe? All right, so she's got to put a little skin in the game. She's going to get a regular mortgage. She can't borrow it. It's not, see, you guys go, ooh and ah. That's your mistake. It's not how much the money costs. It's what you do with the money.
Exactly. You guys got to remember, when I got in the market in 79, 80, I was paying 18 and 24% all day long. It didn't stop me. You just have to run the numbers. So make sure the numbers work. It doesn't matter how much the money costs, as long as you use it right and you get it paid off.
Tammy, I don't see enough value in this for you, and so I'm out.
I think your best bet would be, like Jim suggested, go to some of these out-of-town banks. They seem to be doing pretty good. I think Cindy's got some in mind that she uses out of town, and some of our other investors have the same thing. Because if you're going to be paying, and private investor money is all the way between 8 and 12% at least, and I think that's too much for this property. Also, we would need more information. We would need how much you would need and how much in the negotiable interest rate. We would need all this. And I realize you didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare this. But, when you get your stuff together, you might want to come around and see one of us again. So on that basis, I think I'm out too.
Thank you.
Actually, Don had a bigger question. Okay, if we ask the audience.
We're going to take questions at the end, but
Well, I want to make a comment. I have loaned money to this lady, and she has more house than we have. shortchange yourself by not showing examples of what you can do. You're one of the best retailers I've ever seen. And by the way, she made me high-end several times, and always got it back. That's what you need to recognize.
Actually,
Would you like the offer?
we did bring pictures, but we can't, I don't have anything to put it into.
Well, that's why all these presenters will be at the table with all their pictures and information for all of you to come over and check them out, especially if your little niche is multi-units or if your niche is Sylvania, good to go. Come and see Tammy at the end.
Can anybody tell us what this picture is?
Shark bait. Looks like shark bait to me.
I'll probably pop off my head.
Not sure if this picture is of Alice or Mike. Just so you know, this information wasn't gotten to me in order to put into the system till 4 o'clock today. So we did the best we can. Come on up, Alice, come up here and stand right here. So you can use, here, well, you can use the table. Okay.
Hello? After what you just did, I'm afraid to be up here, so don't yell at me, I might cry. I'm Nick. Hey,
Alice and Mike Cerve are, and Mike is sitting over here, keeping our equipment, keeping the sharks at bay in between each session. And one of our oldest and dearest members is backing this deal. She's with us. She's in her 80s here. Mary Ann's here. Mary Ann Cerve. And I'm telling you, if she can stand up here and do this, I don't know what's the matter with the rest of you.
like she said, I just found out 2 hours ago, so I was trying to run some numbers. I'll just tell you right up front, if you have any questions on the mechanics of it, I'm going to refer to him. I've been in this property twice.
Twice in how long?
Well, once last week, and then before that, once.
How long have you had the property?
Oh, she's owned this property for 40 years. And the tenants that are in this property right now have been in there for 20 years. They think of it as their home. He keeps a pristine, it's almost 2-acre lot.
They don't want to buy it.
This is why I'm here tonight. They would like to buy it because she would like to sell it because she's 86 and it's time to let some of these things start moving into someone else's hands. So when you look on it, the taxable, she's being taxed at, which is ridiculous, how much Spain's taxes are. You could appeal it, yeah. $139,100 is the taxable value. You'll notice on there the land, they tax, or they appraise higher than the house. The house is not updated, but they absolutely love the house. They absolutely do not want to leave here. He was a carpet layer. He's always painting, carpeting. We don't go in there unless they absolutely need something. The agreement has always been from back when her husband was alive that they kept the rent lower than market value would be, and these people always took care of everything unless something, like a furnace. They did put in a high efficiency furnace when it converted from propane. City water has been put through, but it is still septic. Let's see. So what I'm coming to you for is they would like to buy it, but I don't know if a bank, I don't know how banks are doing these days. I saw that they said, Nick, that the cornerstone of land contracts, and Sylvania is an area that you might be interested in, so that's probably why I'm standing up here.
They made any offers?
We told them that, I see it says offered $99.9, okay. So $99 is the price we're talking. That was a figure that came up in comps that was suggested to the buyer. They're waiting, he has excellent, he said 900 points on his credit, and he was sent to the bank to see what he could do. That's what they're waiting for, to see. Alexis to Stewart,
North on, okay, north on.
and then it's on the, when Stewart curves, it becomes Carter. The neighborhood is so peaceful, and everything's well maintained. All the people that are there have, updated their, I mean, it's a well-loved neighborhood.
Don't you have to convert to the sanitary sewers at the?
They don't have it. They don't have it.
Are you for sure?
They've never approached us. She's paying a thing for when they came through with the gas lines.
Right.
And then they have city water.
Right.
But they have never said, hey, there's no city sewers in there, right? Everybody lives something.
Because I've sold some back in there, and we've had to convert on changing the heat.
Okay, because we just assumed that the sewer system has not been run through. Do you know, has the sewer system, is sewers even run through that area? Right.
Probably the original septic system.
Have you replaced that septic system? So you don't know if it's been yanked up and a new one in or anything?
I'm sure that 55 gallons will do.
I do know that we have had it pumped out since we've taken over. She did walk it off, and you actually can't find any difference in the land or the consistency of the dirt, so there seems to be nothing that is degraded back there as if there's a bad septic. No different color, because they do the lawns, so there's no different color in the lawns or anything like that. It has a high efficiency furnace. Mhm.
It looks like the lot sits in front of the house, is that correct?
No.
Or is it to the
left.
side?
The house is right up in the bottom left,
Oh,
I'm sorry, bottom, right corner with the trees surrounding it.
So you're asking us, you're asking us to finance these folks, that's what you're looking
yes.
for?
I know you're used to getting 8 to 12% interest, and I know that you're used to doing like, a year or 2, 3 year deals. I don't know if anybody was looking at any long-term on this, but that's why I'm here.
I'm trying to think, I don't have anybody, I mean, usually when you start getting into the note business, someone offered me a $99,000 note, I'd give probably about $38,000. I mean, they trade at deep discounts, and a lot of it comes down to, if you're a renter. I'm so sorry. My wife never said that.
Good thing.
What I was saying is that in the note buying business, and I'm now marketing a house that was acquired through a note, okay, that ended up turning sour. We're selling a house for $68,000 and they paid $17,000 for the note. Okay? So there are deep discounts in notes. And the reason that there are deep discounts in notes and higher interest rates, that if you can't go to a bank, then the bank don't want you. Why in the world do I want to take that risk? So therein lies the challenge. And to come to us tonight, or anybody for that matter, I think most investors that 5 years, they might do a 30-year amortization on the 5-year balloon. Probably even there, probably more like a 4.5-year balloon, because at 5 years, I don't know if Matt Weisenberg is still here, I think when you hit the 5-year number, it's an automatic foreclosure proceeding versus anything else like that. Yeah.
Well, and that's what my understanding when you you've got it over to them as a land contract, do you always have to handle it as a foreclosure because it's set up as a land contract?
Once you hit certain numbers,
But I thought it was, just because of the fact that it was a land contract, you had to do foreclosure.
No,
instead of
20% or 5 years in Ohio.
20% or 5.
Cindy thinks it's 3. I don't know, that's why I don't do land contracts.
Oh, is he still here?
I've actually used Matt Weisenberger for both, and I didn't find any difference between an eviction and a foreclosure.
Okay. So anyhow, just food for thought. I mean, I think your guy needs to simply go and, he needs to go and try to get a mortgage, and if anything else, you need to move the price up a little bit and then carry a second mortgage. And, you know, some banks will allow to do it if he has that equity, but it has to be a real second mortgage. That's not to say that you can't have a early buyout incentive of the second mortgage.
So you're saying we're part of, explain that again. You said.
Yeah, you're helping with the down payment.
Okay. So you have the price higher and then you say like 119,000. Can I ask you, have you experienced this? They've lived there for 20 years. So if I said $1,000 a year of their rent applied towards a down payment, it's
The problem with that is you'd be backdating something and you'll never get it notarized. The banks aren't really buying. You can try it.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, when we do our lease options, we're very careful. We get ours notarized. They're distinct. It's very important when you do lease options because the courts have held that the option must be completely separate from the lease. It's a lease with option. There is no such thing. Black's Law Dictionary does not recognize lease purchases. There is no such thing. It's embarrassing that the Toledo Board of Realtors has lease purchase in its multiple listing service, even since there is no such animal, okay? And the state of Ohio has ruled in a couple court cases that if you use the term lease purchase and it extends for more than a year, it automatically turns into a land contract. So, but the point being, to answer your question, no, nice try. The banks just don't. Now, what they can do though, what's even more importantly, is that you could give them credit for maintenance and stuff like that. That could be somewhat dated. I don't think it's an issue. I mean, if your client, if your buyers can't muster up 3.5%, I can assure you there's 4 people up here that don't want to have anything to do with it.
Well, here's the thing. 2 hours ago, I was coming up, he's supposed to talk to his bank. I just wanted to know, as education, let's say, they say in a year after you've updated it, then we would loan on it or something. So you can get a mortgage. Now, let me ask you this, what % do you usually have to put down of the purchase price?
Get an OPA loan. Don't we have a mortgage lender in here?
Do they all just leave when
No,
they're
they're just idiots. That's why they one deal away from saying, welcome to Walmart.
You can still get 5% loan.
You can get $500 down right now. That's what I'm saying.
So there are some,
What is what OPA stands for?
no.
All you guys, if you're trying to sell your real estate, you need to know about real estate finance. Why?
Give me the
Because
money.
without the money, nothing happens in real estate. OPA, Ohio FHA. Okay? $500 down. All a buyer needs to have.
It's a grant.
$500 down.
But if the house, does the house have to meet certain standards in order to get?
Well, yeah, it's got to be safe, sound. I mean, I'm looking at the photo. Am I missing something? Is like, are the walls caving in or anything like that? Well, then,
But I didn't know, you know, it's just like, didn't you say under some, a siding can't go all the way down to the ground, it has to be 6 inches up, or this.
What's that?
Yep, siding.
Oh, they don't take it.
So they don't do that kind of thing. Like I say, I have not been through it, Anna has, Mike has, and I don't know if there's things that would prevent, do you know if there's things that would prevent?
Does electric have to be updated?
For everybody.
So it has to be,
Conventional. Oh, wait, let me, the question is, does the electric have to be updated? Does anybody know about this?
No. Some insurance companies now
FHA,
require electric to be updated, some insurance companies do not.
Right. Define updated for me. Is it 30 amps? Is it on a windmill?
The bank says that it's not,
Same size as the phone?
FHA pretty much says that they have not been forcing you to go to breakers like they used to. Because if it's sufficient for the house, then it's okay.
It's still gotta be 100 amp.
100 amp, but it
It
doesn't
still
have.
refuses.
You say it's not 100 amp?
100, it doesn't have to be breakers.
So 100 amp is the requirement, and if it's not, I know that FHA won't give a loan, but would I assume no bank would give a loan?
It's not that they won't give the loan, it'll be a requirement of the loan, which would be a small investment to get
Okay,
the house sold.
gotcha.
You would just do it before closing.
I might give you the name of, I mean, there's probably some electricians here that can help you out.
I happen to know.
So why would you even have this conversation? Just go for it.
Still have 30 amp socket on them, even after they've gotten bigger service.
Well, I understand that,
It's
just
all,
I don't understand why.
I'm saying, it's all, who looks at it, you're saying insurance.
Versus FHA.
Well, that's
They
all.
made any sort of an offer to them?
We only told them a few weeks ago that she wanted to sell the house. They knew it was coming eventually, because when my father-in-law passed away 7 years ago, she was at that time kind of thinking about, now she was finally ready. So they've known it was eventually coming. They would prefer to live forever renting and happy, but you know,
What Jim Moody's telling you is if you do a land contract or something with them where you're the bank, even temporarily, maybe just 2 years so that they qualify for a loan or whatever their problem is, that you always, you know, it's a higher price on the home because you're being the bank for them temporarily.
okay.
So that's why you said about the higher price is because you're the bank.
Right.
You're doing all the.
What bank were you saying, the smaller out?
Maybe after this, I'll
Okay.
give you some ideas.
So do you have any questions for me besides, before this minnow swims upstream? I was here for the education. And he lives up to that mean, snotty shark. Don't you guys think he
I
acts
need a
kind of...
vodka.
I need a Yeah, the general rule is if you go to a local bank that's just a one-building, small bank, the State, the Maumee, the Metamoras, the Genoas, the First Federal, the Deltas, they tend to hold their loans, and if they're holding their loans, you're not jumping through all the hoops.
Okay.
And there's a lot of them, signature.
A lot faster.
You sit by the phone and just get
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I'm a little confused.
okay.
This is a house, is there more?
no.
That mic's not turned on.
Is it a house that they want to cash out right away, or can they work for a
No,
while?
they would live there. They,
Well, no,
oh,
no,
you are.
the owners, do they have to have their cash down, or can you
Well,
wait
she's
a
86.
while? Well, I don't know what they want.
Was she, she's 86 and she wanted to cash out. Yeah.
I can afford you. I'm not,
I wouldn't trust that you wouldn't kick these people out.
I'll give you 40 and I'll let them live for free like they have been for the last 3 years. When you think about it, look at the taxes
Yeah, it-
versus the rent.
Right.
No wonder they wouldn't leave. You filled up their bank account for them.
Well, they're both retired. And they've never been.
Revision on that?
Why?
We tried.
No.
There's, some people have stigma that if you reduce that 139 to what they really sell for, then the house would be worth less, when in reality, it's worth less to start with, and you're just paying all these taxes on it.
I mean, look at what the...
Money in, money out.
Yeah.
You know, would you entertain the idea?
Eat that thing.
Would you entertain the idea of maybe a year contract? You stay in possession, there's no money out of your pocket, but I actually work with your clients. And I will get them that loan.
Okay.
I'll help them with their credit.
I guess they have excellent credit, they said.
Okay, so if they've got excellent credit, they probably wouldn't need what I can offer.
Okay.
But you know, for a cut of the action, and I don't know how big that would be, I could actually come in, get your clients
Hold their hands.
bankable, hold their hands all the way through it, take about a year, and then at the end, I wouldn't get anything until the end, until it gets done. I mean, I could even manage it for you if that would help out.
I manage it. I don't
Okay,
have
so-
to do anything but
so-
deposit the check every month. I mean,
Okay.
they're good.
So I mean, if you would want to maybe consider that avenue, it's a year program, but it's something else to look at.
Yes.
That's good.
And Mick is excellent at doing this. That's what he does every day. So he can do it and get it done.
education reasons, you work with clients that maybe have a little bit of damaged credit, you help them to clean it up, you help them to get financed, and then and you're even willing to manage a property for someone that's unable.
Well,
And
I don't
get
want
ready
to
to
do that, I
change
don't
it.
want to get into that.
Okay.
That's what we do. You take people, our niche in the market is to take,
Our niche in the market is to take clients that can't work with maybe Jim. Jim's working with people that are bank qualifiable, they can buy their house today. My niche is to help people, I move them into a home, there's a down payment required, they pay me monthly. I'm gonna know what their credit looks like, their credit score, their loan to debt, their tax returns, I'm gonna know their income, I'm gonna know everything there is to know about them, and I'm gonna personalize a plan for them, develop a personalized plan for them, and then I babysit them. I'm going to call them once a month. Did you do this? Did you do that? I might help them with disputes. I might help them open up lines of credit. I may, whatever they need is what we do. We're giant babysitters. But at the end, they've got a home, they've got clean credit, they're out of debt, and I'm renting my house. So that was something that, for this lovely little lady here, that's something to think about.
That's he's offering a nice gift there.
And he's the one to be able to do that.
After I find out if they get to the bank and if the bank gives them any problems, then maybe his pristine credit wasn't as pristine. Or it could be because of the fact that time's up. Thank you. We have Dave Falter up here, please. Came all the way from Tiffin, so introduce yourself, Dave.
Hi, my name is David Falter from Tiffin, Ohio. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away. I'm a little nervous, and I would like to try to condense everything a little bit faster. But I have a background in construction. I was actually employed in construction for about 3 years. Got really interested in it. Went to Terra Community College down by Fremont. Studied architecture. Ran out of classes because I was working a full-time job, part-time job, and then doing that. Just like in life, you get sidetracked and what have you, but I've always stayed interested in real estate. So anyway, bought my first personal house in '04. Saved up some money, bought a property, my first investment property in '08. Let's see, so everything's based in Tiffin, Ohio. I got that when I had an auction. I don't know, we got before and after pictures, but I like doing the rehabs, that's my thing. Got a pretty good return on that. Also, as a sidetrack, I'm nervous. So I went back to school, and after looking at all these properties, going back and forth and everything like that, it was suggested to me maybe becoming a home inspector, so I have a little bit more unique background with construction and home inspections. I know all the little tricks of the trade, how people are hiding things. So I walk in the house.
Toledo needs a home inspector.
Yes, and I'm licensed in Toledo too, FYI. So anyhow, I got a little sidetracked there. So I got about 18, or in '08, bought my first rehab property, looked around, turned it a learning experience, and I wish I knew, if I can say it now, if I say the right wording, I wish I knew then what I do now.
Welcome to my age.
Yeah. So anyhow, it's been a real big learning experience, and also there's a lot of resistance and hurdles I had to personally overcome, because Tiverton is a very, very conservative community, and I was told I can't have a rehab in that town. Well, I proved that wrong. So at any rate, I did this property on Perry Street, made a decent amount of money. A couple of years later, I believe it was, oh, it's right there, 2011, I did another one. I did most of the work myself, some of it I hire out. And whenever I budget, I always make sure that I over budget. I plan for the best, but expect the worst. So I always give myself a nice cushion. Every single property that I've ever worked on, I've never lost any money. And besides those properties, I've helped quite a few friends and family members, renovating basements, things like that. So it's just not this stuff. So anyhow, I had this profit sitting in my back pocket there. So I looked at the last property there, 85 8th Avenue, which is where I live at now. And that was a, kind of by default, I guess you could say. That one was going to also be a rehab, then the missus and her kids. They're like, oh, this is a nice place, and let's all move in. So they kind of slowed me down. And
What are you looking for today?
private investors, or private lenders. Nothing in particular.
You're just looking for private money, no property that you have in mind to do anything with right now? Or?
Right. After my learning experience, I joined Toledo Reia about 2 years ago. Been doing a lot of learning, and it's been an eye-opener. So I started looking into wholesaling, and I'm learning right now about private lending through the Allen County.
So basically today, you don't have a property in mind that any of us would hold a mortgage on, or anything that we can work with right now, or you're working with it?
Not at the moment, but that could change in a snap of my fingers, because in my area there was so much of a lack of investors willing to put in the time, effort, and the learning to learn about wholesaling. I was told I couldn't wholesale in my town, I couldn't rehab in my town. So anytime
that's not true.
But I know it's not true, but that's what a lot of people were telling me, even the professionals in our industry, even lawyers. Any rate, so after doing some wholesaling deals, some rehabs, I put up some banded signs, and most of them, they didn't pan out. They weren't really worthwhile. Maybe 1 out of 20, 30 that were worthwhile, like pursuing. But every once in a while I get a call, and I really wish I had some private money to be able to work with and offer a nice return. For instance, I wish I had some pictures up here. One of them was over in a little town called Story, a brick, 2-story, good condition, needs plaster work, and fixed plumbing issues. No big deal. He wanted to walk away for, I think it was around $23,000. Both sides were rented out for $400.
But basically, Dave, right now, today or tonight, we need something that you're going to bring to the table that we can look at, and what our equity would be in it, and what kind of mortgage we'd have to hold on it, what kind of percent of interest that we would get return on our money. So that's what we would need. I think any 4 of us here would need that information.
Right.
That's not true.
Interest, any interest in money, or
What type of home are you looking for?
mostly single-family homes. The opportunity presents itself to make it like a duplex.
Okay, you're looking for a line of credit.
Basically,
Okay, I mean, that's what it is. All right,
Right.
so tell me, I would be interested in talking to you, depending on the terms. I'm telling you right now that I've got $40,000 that I would help you with, okay? But I'm not gonna lend on a rental,
right.
okay? Because $400 on a $22,000 investment, sorry dude, I'm getting $650 to $700 on the same $20,000
Right.
investment, okay? So that don't get it. Flips, you're gonna do all the work, you're not gonna make any money, I'm gonna pay for all the materials, have it delivered from Lowe's, take a lesson from this guy right here. You're gonna starve until we get it sold.
Right.
But I'd be interested in talking to you, especially, on something like that. So those are the kind of numbers I would be very interested in.
One of them, might take a little funny bone, but one of the properties I became aware of, I had a friend at a local bank. They knew I did rehabbing, and they came forward and like, hey, we have a property I'd like to get rid of for like $50,000. I looked at it, I was like, with my inspection background, it's like, there's no way. I was like, there's too much work to be done over here. So it's like, I might be able to offer you like 25. We got it down to about 23,000. And the average home in that area, they're all built exactly the same out in the country. They all average right around 150,000 that they sell for. And it was going to take right around $40,000 to fix it up. So potential profit was easily $50,000. And I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. It's right there in front of me, and I couldn't do anything about it because I didn't have any private money to do anything. And the interest that you guys are talking about, that's all completely negotiable. So.
Okay, I've worked with some investors sitting in this room right now, and when they find a property like that, they will call, hey, Dave, I'm interested in buying this property. Could I get a loan, X number of dollars on this property? Are you in a position to loan this much? The house is going to be worth so much. I need to put $5,000–6,000 into it. Then I most generally go out and look at it, at the house. That's the way, I usually work.
Right.
And Jim's got another idea here that he can invest. So that's something that we would need.
Right. I 100% agree with you guys on all counts. The hard part, it's a little bit different than the Toledo Reia. I joined you guys up here. I think you guys have like 200 some members. Our group, we are lucky to show up like with 15. And literally when I'm trying to find investors to do like or buyers for wholesale deals or anything like that, there's so much resistance and they're hard to find. I pick up the phone. It's almost like I'm pretty much cold calling them. I say, hey, are you guys interested? And then I have to teach them everything, tell them what's going on, and they hang up the phone. Right, so it's just really frustrating. So I want to try to gear towards more of the rehabs and get that going.
Well, Dave, I like what you have to say a lot, and I also borrow money. And I do exactly like you. One of the things I want to know is, hey, Dave, how much you got for me? Hey, Don, how much you got? That way I can go out and make those offers because I know these guys are going to back me. So
right.
I like the way you're approaching that.
Right.
That's exactly how I would do it too.
Okay.
Dave, I think you've got some good experience. I mean, obviously you've got some good experience. I've got a lot of interest in what you're having to say. Let me ask this. What is your experience in sales? How would you liquidate these properties?
Hopefully, let's see. I got an idea. I just try to formalize everything in my head. So. Pretty much, like a lot of these properties, I find myself, and to save on marketing and all that other stuff, I usually find a realtor and let them deal with everything.
So you're going to list them, is what you're saying?
Right. And I always budget for commissions and holding costs and all that too.
Well, I like what you've got to say. I would take Jim up in a heartbeat on what he's talking about. In fact, Jim, I'm going to make you an offer as we're sitting here. You triple that number, and we'll talk about. I need some money.
I was going to say too, I tend to be a very risky person, and I think age has a huge thing to do with how I think.
Hey.
It used to be that I loved to rehab, and I've gotten to the point where I don't like to rehab anymore because I can't bend over as much. But I think the biggest key for any younger person is to network. I think coming to these meetings, meeting people, getting to know who loans money. And once you have a deal, you just call them and say, hey, let's go to lunch, let's sit down, let me show you what I had, I'm interested in borrowing some money. And I think that's the most important thing.
Sounds good to me.
Lunch.
Any questions that you have, other than what's your name and what's their name and phone number?
Maybe with the sales and marketing, maybe you guys can point me in the right direction. I literally go through the auditor's website, I've done that before. I'm looking for who owns property, multiple properties in Tiffin or the RIA groups, things like that. See who's got multiple properties. I'll send out brochures or postcards and things like that. Usually I don't get much response, which I can understand.
You don't need three.
Right.
3 deals a year. And you
Right.
$40,000 in Tiffin, that's good money. That's good money. Good money. Yeah, that's a good money in California. So
Do you, oh, sorry.
you just gotta get a good deal.
Do you guys have any other ideas, maybe how I could maybe find other like sharks or lenders? Other sharks or private lenders, try to
Just start asking people.
just keep on pushing, okay?
And also on some of those deals, when somebody wants to sell, see if they want to be the banker.
For a percent, that's a great
Yeah.
idea for a percentage.
Always.
Yeah, because they might, they might not want a chunk of money like $100,000 at a crack because Uncle Sam's going to be there with both hands out for it.
Right.
So they might want their payments over a period of time. And if you can make some money on it, they can make some money on it, everybody's happy.
Very good point. That $2 million deal I was telling you about I was doing today, is an apartment complex. It's I call it A-grade apartment complex. I found the owner, and the owner doesn't need to cash out. He wants a structured payout. Perfect. So we're giving him enough money to satisfy him, let him buy a boat with or whatever the deal, okay? And then there's a structured payout on that there. He just wants out the management or anything else like that. So you'll find like estates, okay? Or someone whose parents are going into, that's what, you can learn about subject twos, all kinds of other stuff, which I don't know anything about, nor do I want to.
That's what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to concentrate on rehabs because it just naturally comes to me. But I'm trying.
The houses were
Right. So I'm trying to digest all this stuff in like 2 years and just.
That's one of the biggest pearls of wisdom we had all night, is that you always want to find out, just shut up and find out what the seller wants. It could be they don't want to clear the house out. You would be amazed at what the seller wants. And all of us that have over 65 syndrome here is, we don't want the government to take 50% of what you give us. So, probably nobody does, but especially your senior citizens, because that also puts them in a bracket where they're going to lose their Social Security. So it's very important that you always find out what that person wants.
Anything else? So I'm going to give you the HUD paperwork on short sale, because this tells you what to look out for if you're looking for fraud. So what's very important about this is you need to make sure you aren't using these methods or these terminologies, okay? All right, we're ready for shark bait number 4. Let me introduce to you one that's only been with Toledo Reia for a short time. One of our newbies now, hitting his 2nd year. Shark bait Curtis Cunningham.
All right. Well, before I even get started, sharks, I know y'all mostly know me because I try to sell several properties to y'all, wholesaling. But everything, I had everything together to present, but I moved and my printer and everything didn't come out, you know. So, you know, in real estate, you know, you always have an A, B, and C. So this is, you know, to work out a deal, make a deal happen. Well, you know, in my presentation, I just wrote up everything that I needed to do and even negotiated with the price. So what I'm presenting to you today are actual facts, numbers, and I actually have an A through D plan of everything that I'm doing on each particular deal. So I'm going to show you why I want y'all guys to invest with me, and so we can do some deals and make this thing happen. So, without further ado, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about myself, just real quick, and try to make this exciting as possible. My name is Curtis Cunningham. I'm 30 years old. I'm actually a comedian, singer, actor. I did my first movie last year in Detroit. And also I'm a real estate entrepreneur. And I'm a minister. So, and all those things, and I've been wholesaling. I started in 2011. I did a kind of understudy to get educated about real estate. And from 2011 to 2013, I got on the field, I joined Reia, and everything that I've learned and got to mentor to learn how to even run numbers. That was the first thing that I made it my business to know before I got out here and started working, was to run numbers, because you make money when you buy. So what I'm presenting you today is numbers, and that you will see that the numbers that I come up with and the numbers that I have are the numbers that I negotiated. They have a lot of equity, and they're very, very good deals. So I'm looking for, the money that I'm looking for, one are for money to put down on property, and also to do the improvements on the property. So actually, and to make it real quick, because I had to go and take pictures today because I've been running around real crazy and they couldn't print out, so I actually had to give y'all something so y'all can look at. That this is my 5-unit property. I negotiated with the seller. He owes $115 on a mortgage. He owes $115. It's cash flowing. It's all fully occupied. It's cash flowing over $2,500 a month, and he is he's willing to let me take over the payments. I actually have a property manager, but before our phone dies, I'm going to show you just a picture of the property real quick. You know what? Phone never died. So, make sure to show you that. So, it's an all-brick 5-unit. Address is 3945 Torrance. It's actually about a couple blocks from one of Mr. Mick's property that duplexes. And actually it's on Pennsylvania, yes. It's a 5-unit. Yep. 2 of the units are 2 bedrooms, and then the other 3 are single bedrooms. 2 of the bedrooms, the 2 bedroom is getting $620 a month. The second 2 bedroom is getting $550 a month. The other 3 units are getting $445. So, and with that, when I did my numbers and everything, with the seller owes on the property and what he's asking for is about $55,000 worth of equity, $55,000 worth in the equity of the property. When you do the cap rate and you do the monthly cash flow, it's about $200,000. And and there's no work to be done. It's and I actually have a team, because before I even got started, I wanted to learn. I want to make sure I have a team, because I don't believe in managing and doing things myself. I got enough people I network with and I work with that I have a property manager. I even have a contractor. And Sylvania and Jackie.
No, it's going to be
Okay, so what I really need for that property is the down payment, which is $25,000. The seller would like $25,000, which he's asking for $145,000.
Dude, I just saw one on the corner right now for $49,000. And right now, what you're telling me is he wants 150. I can't help myself, I'm already analyzing things, so sorry. That's why I wake up in the middle of the night screaming. Okay. Now he wants $25,000 in addition to the payout, in addition to 115.
Yeah, the 150.
So he really wants 140.
He wants 140.
Does he deal crack?
No. That is negotiable. That's what he wants. So in a perfect world, if he got what he wants, which
I'm not trying to be mean, dude, but that's what I just said. There's a couple nice 4 families right now on Torrance. 4 families, you got a 5 for 50. And all those are pretty solid over there on Torrance. I mean, they're pretty much the same deal. Brick, usually they got 2 cars, they got the garages in the back.
Yeah, they got garages.
And 2 down, 2 up. Some of them are boiler, some have been converted to, I mean, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he would let you take over the payments at 115 if you give him $25,000.
But like I said, I negotiated. Like I said, in a perfect world, that's what he wanted. But
Right.
I'm more at 5,000 or less than that.
I
And
think exactly.
He's willing even to take that. But I just threw that out there. In a perfect world, that's what he wanted. So
Well, at 150, if you took the payments over for him and kept him out of foreclosure, he should take you to breakfast every day.
yeah.
I'm not being mean. I'm just telling you. Let me ask you this: are the utilities separate?
The utilities are about $785 a month. So it's about $10,000 in operating costs a year.
No.
The
heat's
water,
included.
the seller pays the water,
Yes.
and the seller pays and the taxes. So pretty much the only thing he pays is
So there are individual heating units. It's not a boiler system.
yes,
For sure.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. So so it grows about a little over 30,000 a year, and cost and operating costs is about.
Why is he selling again?
Because he's a motivated seller.
Why?
Because he started another business out of state, and he has another business, and he just sold his 10 unit, and he's trying to get out of real estate because he can't focus on real estate and the new business venture that he got himself into.
Is he trying to get out of Toledo?
And he just sold his home in Perrysburg, so he's trying to move to Michigan.
How far?
Up north, I can't tell you
The only reason I'm asking is, the further away they are, the more motivated they are.
yeah, like I said, he's willing to take, he just he wants the stress-free. I just asked him, what do you want? Okay, is that the least you take? He said, well, I'm willing to take 5,000. So I have an idea of what he would take, or what less he would take. So, and negotiating, you gotta find out where their problem's at, and,
I think
me
you're
putting down.
saying there for free foreclosure because no property management company will take as good care of it as you will. So says a property management company owner. And just say, you know what, for me, like treating you really good, what I want to do is the positive cash flow that you get, because no one's going to buy these. You say, and I'll give you the comps, and you show them, and everything's selling for $40,000 over there for 4 families that he took when he bought it.
Yeah.
But you're going to help him out. You're here to save the day, okay? And you'll say for a portion of the monthly payment, I'm going to keep it for my trouble. A portion of the monthly cash flow that you receive is towards my down payment, and the other is just because you own it. And in 7 years, I'm going to cash out.
Yep.
Start with 10 years and let them negotiate you down to 7, which is where you wanted to be in the first place.
Yes.
Okay? But yeah, that's just not, that doesn't interest me. Sorry.
But I also that's property A. I got 2.
I'm taking notes. We're all
So-
things.
Okay. Do you want me to finish the other 2? Okay. Second property is, I actually have a contract today. It's 2919 Scottwood. It's a duplex. And all the properties I'm talking about are multi-units. I'm buying these properties for cash flow. And like I said, I even have a company out of state that will do the finances, the refinance and stuff like that, once I do the improvements and get it occupied and so on and so forth.
A single family?
It's a duplex. It's a duplex. And actually, they owe back taxes, which is like $9,300, but they're bringing $2,000 to the table to pay me to take in the property. And $2,000, they're gonna give me the property and pay me $2,000.
So basically, it's going to cost them $7,300.
$7,300, yes, and you know.
Are there others?
No, Carrie is working on it. So, and I'm really surprised the bones and everything looks good. It's been vacant for 5 years. It got some vandalism. A couple of counters are missing, but it needs about, I like to over budget $15,000 that I had for that to get it, do the improvements on both of the units. I mean both of the units, and actually what I'm looking at is 10% interest on the loan.